Imagine two people. For 20 years, they both set aside exactly $500 a month. Despite equal discipline, the investor's portfolio grew to fund an entire retirement, while the saver's balance barely covered a few years of expenses. We are often taught that stockpiling cash is the ultimate path to financial security. So why did the person who followed that advice perfectly end up struggling? Because applying rigid discipline to a financial rulebook that expired decades ago is a guaranteed way to lose. In 1995, the strategy of just saving was actually rooted in a different mathematical reality. This dashboard compares the economic reality of 1995. The interest rate bar, what banks paid for your deposits, easily outpaces the inflation bar below it. Housing took up a smaller percentage of income, and the cost of living remained relatively stable. Leaving your money in a savings account during that window generated a meaningful, positive return.
You could grow your wealth without taking on market risk. The financial advice passed down from previous generations worked for their specific era, but the macroeconomic environment that supported it has quietly vanished. Today, the math operates in reverse. The modern economy heavily penalizes anyone holding on to excess cash. Inflation acts as a relentless, invisible expense that taxes your cash without you ever seeing a bill. Consider a standard trip to the grocery store. A cart full of food that cost you $100 a few years ago might cost you $120 today for the exact same items. The physical dollars sitting in your checking account haven't disappeared. The balance looks exactly the same, but the actual buying power of those dollars is slowly evaporating. By avoiding the market, you are actively choosing to accept a guaranteed loss of purchasing power over time. In a modern economy, holding cash is not a perfectly safe, neutral position. Escaping that trap requires completely rethinking the purpose of your capital. Instead of treating your money like a static pile to be hoarded, you have to treat it like an organized workforce. Every single dollar needs a specific job assignment. Your capital should be deployed into 4 mandatory categories: an emergency fund, short-term spending, long-term investing, and future goals. Pure cash is a brilliant tool for absorbing unexpected emergencies, but it is mathematically incapable of driving long-term financial growth. Financial stagnation is the direct result of taking an emergency tool and mistakenly assigning it a growth job. This brings us back to our second person from the beginning, the one whose wealth grew exponentially over 20 years. They harnessed a mechanic called compound growth. When you invest money, it earns a return. Over time, those initial returns generate their own additional returns, creating an accelerating cycle of expansion. Capturing this growth means ignoring risky individual stock picks. Instead, the most reliable strategy utilizes simple, broad tools like index funds and tax-advantaged retirement accounts. Building wealth this way doesn't require elite intelligence or perfectly predicting the market. It relies entirely on the unbroken consistency of time in the market. Many people understand the math, but they stall. They fall into the trap of believing they need to accumulate a massive sum, like $20,000, before they are ready to become an investor. Time is the only true multiplier an investor has. Waiting years to start simply gives inflation more time to compound against you. The blueprint: 1. Build an emergency fund. 2. Automate investments. 3. Scale contributions with income. 4. Restrict cash. 5. Deploy dollars like employees seeking returns. The core principle is simple. Capital must be deployed as a working asset, not stored as a security blanket. Success in the modern economy requires turning a static pile of money into a workforce that labors on your behalf. Cash protects your present. Investments build your future. Saving your income will always be the crucial first step, but true financial security only begins the moment you decide to give every single dollar a job.